The footage opens on Chloe, the director of the small film crew, her face illuminated by the camera light, filled with a restless ambition. "The London Underground is a city beneath a city," she says, her voice echoing in the vast, dusty space. "But some parts of it have been silent for nearly 100 years. Tonight, we are in one of them, the abandoned King William Street station. We're here to investigate the legend of the Strand Singer, a ghost said to lure people to their doom with her sorrowful song." Her crew consists of Ben, the veteran cameraman who has seen too many supposed hauntings turn out to be drafts and rats; Liam, the meticulous sound engineer obsessed with capturing pure audio; and Maya, the show's charismatic host, whose bright smile couldn't quite hide her deep-seated fear of the dark. They had official permission for a 12-hour shoot, but Chloe had secretly jammed the magnetic lock on the heavy steel access door, ensuring they would be trapped until the morning maintenance crew arrived. She wanted authenticity. She wanted fear. She would get more than she bargained for. For the first few hours the shoot was routine. Maya delivered her lines with practiced ease. Ben captured beautiful, moody shots of the decaying station, and Liam recorded the profound, oppressive silence. As the last official train rumbled on the nearby active lines, plunging their world into a tomb-like quiet, the real investigation began. Liam, monitoring his equipment, was the first to notice it. "I've got an anomaly," he whispered over the comms, his voice a mixture of excitement and confusion. "A micro-signal, very faint. It's melodic, almost like music, but there's no power source down here that could produce it." Chloe's eyes lit up. "Keep recording. That's gold." An hour later they all heard it, no equipment needed. Faintly at first, then growing in clarity, a sound drifted from the black mouth of a southbound tunnel. It was a woman's voice, singing a haunting, sorrowful lullaby. The melody was beautiful, weaving through the pillars of the station, a sound of pure, heartbreaking grief. "Incredible," Chloe breathed, gesturing for Ben to get the shot. "It's probably just a busker near a street-level vent," Ben grumbled, but he was already rolling. The camera's autofocus struggling to find a subject in the absolute darkness of the tunnel. The song faded, leaving a ringing silence in its wake. The initial excitement was replaced by a tense, waiting quiet. It was then that a new sound began. It was the sound of a small child, weeping, a desperate, terrified sobbing that echoed from a different tunnel. "Mummy? I'm lost. Can you help me?" The sound was a physical blow. Maya, her face pale, looked at Chloe. We have to find them." "That's a kid." "It's a trick," Ben said, his voice low and firm. "There is no child down here. It's the acoustics of the tunnels playing with a sound from the surface." "I don't care," Maya insisted, her voice trembling. "What if you're wrong?" Chloe, seeing the raw, dramatic potential, made the call. "We follow it. Ben, keep rolling. Liam, track the source." They moved into the service tunnels, a maze of claustrophobic, brick-lined corridors. The sound of the crying child moved with them, always just around the next corner, a heartbreaking lure pulling them deeper into the labyrinth. Liam, monitoring, his headphones suddenly stopped. "It's wrong," he whispered. "The sound, there's no reverb, no natural echo. In a brick tunnel like this, it should be bouncing everywhere. This sound is clean. It's like it's being whispered directly into the microphones." As if on cue, the crying stopped, and a new sound began. It was Chloe's voice, a perfect imitation, yelling from a tunnel behind them. "Ben, my light's out. I'm stuck back here. Help me." They all froze, turning to see Chloe standing right beside them, her own light working perfectly, her face a mask of horror. "That wasn't me," she whispered. Panic erupted. The intelligence they were hunting was not just a residual echo. It was an active, conscious predator. It had learned their voices in a matter of hours. They scrambled back the way they came, but the tunnels now seemed unfamiliar. Every intersection looked the same. The entity began its psychological assault. It whispered their names from the darkness. It played back snippets of their earlier cheerful conversations, but twisted them into mocking, distorted parodies. It was trying to separate them, to turn their trust in each other into a weapon. The tactic worked on Liam. He had been telling a story earlier about his young daughter, who loved to sing. As he lagged behind the group, trying to recalibrate a faulty microphone, he heard it, the sound of his own daughter, humming her favorite nursery rhyme, coming from a small, dark alcove. "Guys, wait," he said into his comms, his voice filled with a desperate, illogical hope. I hear something. Liam, get back here." "Now!" Ben yelled, but it was too late. Liam, hypnotized by the impossible sound, took a few steps into the alcove. The others heard a single, wet, tearing sound over the radio, followed by a gasp, and then complete, deafening static. Liam was gone. Now frantic, the remaining three fought their way back to the main station platform. They were no longer filmmakers. They were survivors. The entity, as if angered by their resistance, unleashed its most terrifying trick. From the main tunnel, they heard it. The deafening, ground-shaking roar of an approaching train, its horn blaring, its headlights cutting. A bright, terrifying path through the darkness. They screamed and dove onto the grimy platform, shielding their heads. A hurricane of wind and dust blasted past them, the sound of the train so loud it was physically painful. And then, nothing. The sound and the lights vanished. The tunnel was as dark and silent as it had been before. There had been no train. The phantom train broke Maya. She collapsed into a state of catatonic shock, her eyes wide and unseeing. As Ben tried to comfort her, he saw it. At the far end of the platform, briefly illuminated by his camera light, stood a figure. It was tall, unnaturally thin, and pale white. It was contorted, its limbs bent at odd angles, and it scurried on, all fours up the curved wall and onto the ceiling with the speed of an insect before disappearing into the darkness. It had been there the whole time, watching them. "Chloe, grab Maya! We have to get to the door now!" Ben yelled, a new cold terror in his voice. "I'll hold it off." He knew it was a foolish, cinematic gesture, but it was all he could think to do. He ran towards the opposite tunnel, yelling and flashing his powerful camera light, trying to draw the creature's attention. He was met with a chorus of his own voice, screaming in perfect, multi-layered harmony from the darkness ahead. Chloe, half dragging the unresponsive Maya, finally reached the heavy steel door. She fumbled at the electronic lock, her fingers slick with sweat, trying to override the jam she had so cleverly set just hours before. The station was silent for a moment. Then the old, disused public address system, dead for decades, crackled to life with a loud hiss. It was Liam's voice. It was calm, professional, and filled with a strange, resonant beauty, as if he were narrating a nature documentary. Audio log entry 34. The acoustic properties of this space are truly remarkable. The resonance is unlike anything I have ever recorded. Chloe froze, her hand hovering over the keypad. Liam's voice continued, now layered with a faint, melodic echo. The primary subject identifies as female, with a significant soprano range. Her vocalizations are beautiful. I believe further study is required. I think I'll stay and listen for a while. Then the original haunting lullaby began again, drifting from the deep, dark tunnel. But this time, it was a duet. The original, sorrowful female voice was now intertwined with a clear, perfect male tenor harmony. It was Liam. The sound was the most beautiful, enchanting, and utterly terrifying thing Chloe had ever heard. It wrapped around her, pulling at her, promising an end to fear and a descent into beautiful, eternal sound. The video footage ends there, on a still shot of Chloe's terrified, mesmerized face, her hand outstretched towards the door control, caught between the instinct for survival and the supernatural, deadly beauty of the song from the darkness.